All right, it's getting to be the time of year when I fish a whole lot of hard plastic baits. And if you've watched a lot of my videos, you know there's 3 in particular that I really like. Well, really kind of 4. The first is a bait I've been fishing a ton lately. That's the SB57 crankbait. Also, another one I love is the Echo 1.75. But I also fish rattle traps and floating rattle traps. And for a while, I've been dying to get them into a pool and see how they look fish with different techniques. And if you've seen previous pool videos, you know I always have my assistant along with me. There he is.
I think I might take a nap on this couch.
Yeah, no doubt. It does look comfy. We're here at some friend's house, Dan and Jill McNeil. Thanks for letting us use your pool. Man, I just love pool videos. They're so invaluable. I always learn so much. I know I will from this one. Let's get them in the water. All right, first things first, we'll let you know everything we're using here. Got an Akuma Guide Select rod. This is a 6'9" medium, and I've got a Komodo SS reel on this. And spooled on here is soft steel, 15-pound mono. Good all-around gear and line for this type of fishing. All right, first up is a 1/2 ounce rattle trap. My first technique is just a straight retrieve, right? I mean, that's how most people fish this thing. Let's just see how it looks in the water on a straight retrieve. All right, I can tell you on the front end, my bias is against a straight retrieve. Here we held the camera still so you could see the speed of the bait and hear that legendary rattle trap sound. You can see how this would elicit a reaction strike. The fish knows it has to hit now or miss its chance. All right, next up is the way that I like to fish a rattle trap. Kind of a straight retrieve with some twitches. Let's see how that looks. All right, under most circumstances, this just seems to me to be a much better way to fish the bait. That jump with a loud rattle is enough to elicit a reaction strike. And then that wobble on the fall is enough to convince any fish that might be on the fence. All right, next is a style that a lot of people use when fishing rattle traps in deeper water. I don't typically fish it this way. It's called yo-yoing, but I want to see how it looks in the pool. The problem with yo-yoing in the marshes I fish is that there's too much grass and detritus on the bottom. But you can definitely see why this would be a productive technique over hard bottom or in the surf. All right, here's a floating rattle trap. This bait is really productive when you're fishing around grass edges or over grassy flats that are not, obviously not matted. But let's see how this looks. First retrieve we're gonna do is just a straight retrieve. There's not much difference in appearance from the regular rattle trap, other than obviously the level of the water column. All right, some people like to actually walk the dog with this thing. It's kind of an underwater walking the dog. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I admit I've never employed this technique, but I definitely will in the future. The bait is super erratic in both sound and motion. It looks irresistible. All right, and finally is my favorite way to fish it, just with kind of random twitches. Let's look at that. Okay, I can definitely see why this technique is so productive for me. Between the twitches, the bait suspends like a wounded bait fish trying to gather its wits. Easy prey for a hungry predator. All right, next up is a bait I love. This is the Echo 1.75. I've caught plenty of bass, redfish, and speckled trout on this bait. I've been dying to get this thing in the pool. I'm really curious to see how it looks underwater. First up is gonna be just a straight retrieve. All right, I just love how this thing wobbles on multiple axes. And you can really see that in slow motion. All right, as much as I like this bait, I almost never fish it with a straight retrieve. Now I'm gonna show you how it looks the way I fish it, just kind of twitching the bait. Now obviously fishing the bait this way limits its dive capabilities. Making it perfect for shallow water or to attract bites from fish that won't fully commit to topwater plugs. Here in slow motion, you can really see how this technique enhances the erratic tendencies of the bait. All right, and last but far from least is the SB57. Now I gotta tell you, 2 years ago I'd never fished this bait, but since that time I have absolutely grown to love this thing. It is just so productive. In fact, I probably fish this more now than I do the Echo, so I just wanna see why. I wanna see how it looks in the pool. Having just watched the Echo in the pool, I don't see how it can look better, but maybe it will, let's see. The SB57 dives deeper than the Echo, but it has many of the same characteristics. Again, that's never how I fish this bait. Now I'm gonna show you how I fish it, just intermittent twitches. Mark Daniels Jr., who designed this bait, told me he never fishes it this way, so who am I to argue? But man, to me, the darts, twists, and turns of the SB57 when twitched make it simply irresistible to fish. I know from experience this technique is deadly for the marshes of South Louisiana. Man, what a great pool test. I know I certainly learned a ton. Hats off to Bill Lewis Lures for making such incredible crankbaits that really produce just a ton of fish across the entire nation. Also want to welcome a new sponsor, Habit Outdoors. Habit makes incredibly inexpensive fishing clothes. Go check them out if you haven't already, and even at their already low prices, if you enter coupon code MARSHMAN15 at checkout, you get 15% more off. That's a great deal. I will hopefully you enjoyed the video and got as much out of it as I did. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the Marsh Man Masson channel on YouTube. And don't forget to hit the notification bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And until next time, if we don't see you in the marsh or poolside, we'll see you right here on Marsh Man Masson.